Hey guys, today I'm filming part 2 of my Hit It or Quit It Thoughts on Hauls number 73. If you guys have never seen one of these videos from me before, I'll have my playlist linked down below. And basically I'm going to be reviewing all the products I featured in a haul 1 year ago to let you know my current thoughts on those products. I will have the original video linked down below and I will list and link all the items that I mentioned. I will also have part 1 directly linked up in the cards as well. This was a huge haul, and in the first part I talked about everything that I purchased, but the second part is where I talk about the things I got in my Sephora play and then several gifts from friends as well. So starting with the things from my Sephora play, the first was the free sample of the Atelier Cologne Clementine California perfume. I think the Atelier fragrances would be so nice for a home scent, but for me, they're way too strong for me to consider using as a perfume. So I always end up passing their fragrances on whenever I get them. They're just too intense for me, but would be amazing home scents. Then was the Indie Brightening Cleanser. I did think this one had a nice scent. It was refreshing on the skin, but it was just basic for me. It's not something that I would consider repurchasing. I did use that up a couple months ago in my 365 Days of Samples series. Next, I had the Ren Ready Steady Glow Daily AHA Tonic. I have not used this one yet. If you guys have seen the kind of Pixie PR people get every holiday season, they give us a gigantic bottle of Glow Tonic that takes me forever to get through. So I just have a little bit left and I just used up some baby bottles of Glow Tonic as well because they were a little older also. So this is going to be the next thing that I use. So I will be able to review this for you guys pretty soon in my 365 Days of Sample series. So I'm hoping that I like this. I haven't tried anything else from this brand before. And I don't feel like you can go too wrong with toners personally. And then was one hair product. This is the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Triple Detox Shampoo. And this is something that you use in place of regular shampoo. For hard water buildup removal, leave on for 1 to 2 minutes before rinsing. I was checking to see if this gives you like a recommendation of how many times to use it per week, but it doesn't. But I actually have several of these tubes I've gotten as freebies and I'm using one of them right now. And I was really impressed with this because it doesn't necessarily lather up, but it does create some sort of a texture that's easy to work through the hair. I have used other clarifying shampoos in the past. I remember in high school I used something from Neutrogena that was so hard to work through my hair, and I have a lot of it. That does a nice job of like working into the roots. It has a nice scent. It does make my hair feel fresh and clean, and I do tend to use dry shampoo every other day, but I don't have too much buildup because I only go 2 days before washing my hair again. I don't have 3rd, 4th, 5th day hair. I don't do all that. If I did all that, I think this would definitely do well for people. I think a clarifying shampoo is something that you probably need if you use dry shampoo that many days in a row or use a lot of hairspray or other things like that. But I'm really happy with this. I do think that this is nice and I definitely will use up the other ones that I have. So this is a good product. I was really happy with how easy it was to work through the hair. Then there were 2 makeup products. The first is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. This is very interesting. It did take me a while to get used to because it is a very like thick glue-like primer. And I do like this though. I think it's better than like Becca Ever Matte or the Makeup Forever Step 1 Mattifying Primer. Those are gluey, but they don't blend onto the skin. This one is able to be blended out, so you're able to get like an even amount of product on the skin. I do like this one. I haven't used it in a while, but I am going to put this, I think, in my fall project is what I've decided, because I'm going to hopefully finish up that Cover FX primer soon in the fall project, and then I'll work on this one to get some good use out of it because I have already used some of it. I do enjoy this product. I'm not super in love with it, but I might change my mind when I start using this every single day. So those are my thoughts for now, but I will review it more in depth when I put it in that project pan. And the last thing was this Shiseido Controlled Chaos Mascara Ink. I just opened this up to start using it. And you can see there's a lot of product on the end there, so it's not dried out, but it feels like it when I put it on my lashes. It just does not do anything for me at all. I do like this brush. It is like an hourglass shape, but it is flatter on some of the sides. And again, normally I would like this kind of brush, but I think it's mostly the formula. It just does not do anything for me at all. So I decided I'm just gonna toss it. I don't even want to try to make myself use it for a month because I have a lot of other mascaras to use. So that one is a no for me. Next was a gift from my friend Amanda Alexander on YouTube. It is Amanda with 3 A's on Instagram. And she sent me a bunch of products. The first was the Pure Cosmetics Boxycharm palette. I know they've had a bunch. I think this was the first one. It has some peachy tones, a blue, an olive. And I did end up passing this palette on. That olive, which was gorgeous, but I have a ton of olive shadows, but those are like my favorite kinds. The peaches are pretty as well. I have several peach shadows, and I just am not impressed with Pure's eyeshadow formula. I've tried a couple different palettes from them, and it's just an okay formula. Next was a Lorac Q the Confetti Cheek Palette that had, was it 1 highlight and 3 blushes? One was like a really shimmery brown. One was a bright hot pink. And then the reason that I wanted that palette was, oh gosh, for the coral color Technicolor. So this is a smaller pan that I depotted from that palette, which was super easy to depot. This is a gorgeous pink coral blush. It is very pigmented. It does have a matte finish. This is really easy to blend on the skin. I don't really like much from Lorac, but I do think that these blushes are fantastic quality. Also, they're Mega Beam highlighters. There aren't really any shades that work for me, but my sister has Gilded Lily. It's an incredible blinding highlight that has like a smooth formula. So impressive. But I do have a couple other blushes from them that one I got at TJ Maxx, one was gifted to me, but I love them. They have a great formula and I love this shade. I'm so happy that I depotted this and I kept this in my collection. Oh, let me swatch it for you. I want to do some swatches today. I actually brought over a towel. So that is Technicolor. So intense. Oh, well, that's a bit of an underwhelming swatch right there in that moment, but very pretty. Let me try to build it up a little bit. But listen, you got no problem when applying it. There we go. To the cheeks. And of course you don't want it like that intense on the cheeks either. Kiko Rebel Bouncy Blush in #1 Velvety Peach. And this is a really pretty peachy nude blush, and this is like a putty texture. Like the color pops, you can see I'm able to like mush it, work it around, and I love that it is a cream to powder formula because that makes it really easy to apply, and it is long lasting on my oily skin, which is really impressive. I love this shade. I think this will be such a gorgeous blush for the fall time. It's really nice to give you that like blushy bronzed look, or like a bronzy blush look. Really pretty, great formula. Definitely recommend that. That may have been limited edition. I feel like Kiko does a lot of limited edition collections and products, so I'm not sure if just these shades were limited or if this formula itself was limited, but if it's not, I do recommend it. I think this is a really nice formula. Next was a Kiko Metallic Highlighter in Sparkling Holiday, which was such a beautiful peachy golden color. I really wanted this to work for my skin tone, but it was too dark for me. So I did pass it on to my friend Ami, who has more of a tan complexion. But it was a very smooth highlight. It did have a nice glow to it, just too dark. And next was this mini Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector pressed in Lilac Geode, which is this beautiful like warm pink highlight that has a bit of a peachy undertone. I guess there's a little purple in there, but not really. It's more of like a pinky peach. It's right there. It's a little dark for my skin tone, but I actually really like this one in the springtime, and I think with the blushes I pair it with, it goes really nicely, and it's definitely more of a subtle highlight on me because the base is a little darker, but it's not too dark. It actually works on me, and I do think it is very unique and very pretty. I do think that Benefit Tickle is very similar, but that one is a little bit more pink. It's a little bit lighter and more reflective. So if you have tried this and feel like it's too dark for you, then I would recommend Benefit Tickle, but really like this formula, really like this shade. Super happy to have that in my collection. And then I had the Milani Must Have Metallics palette that had 4 metallics, 2 mattes in there, like a matte black and a matte cream. I think that the shades in there were beautiful. They did perform well, but I do have similar things in my collection, so I did just recently pass that on. Then was the Milk Luminous Blur Stick. I feel like Luminous and Blur is a bit of an oxymoron. I know there are other products like that, but it wasn't blurring enough for me, so I did pass that on as well. Then was the Pure Out of the Blue Lip Gloss in Focus. Pretty shady, but the formula was just okay for me. Then the Lime Crime Velvetine Liquid Lipsticks in Sasha and Red Velvet. I actually do like the Lime Crime Liquid Lipsticks. They are a completely dry down formula. They can be a little bit drying, but I've kind of gotten used to that with liquid lipsticks. They do have a nice vanilla scent. I like the packaging. They have a lot of different shades to choose from. I do think that's a nice liquid lipstick formula. Then we have the Ole Henriksen Uplifting Transformation Eye Gel and Cream. By the time I went to use them, they did go bad, unfortunately. And Amanda also sent me some nail polishes and some makeup organizers, which are great. Some of them were kale polish. I love the kale polish formula. And the makeup organizers were from ByAllegory, a lipstick organizer and a shadow organizer. I haven't figured out how to use the shadow one in my, like, along with my current storage, but the lipstick one I actually have on top of my vanity, and I use it to put some chopping block lip products in, so I just pull from them and test them when I'm doing my makeup. So I really love the quality of those. Then I had a gift from Courtney K. The first thing she gave me was the ColourPop Semi Precious palette that had 8 metallic shades in it. I thought that they were pretty, but nothing overly impressive, so I did pass that on. Then we have the Alamar Reina del Caribe Volume 1 palette, and I know she has a Volume 2 as well, and I did see a sneak peek from Yusuf Martin, who's the owner of Boxycharm, that she's going to be coming out with another palette as well, and it looks okay, but this one's definitely the best. Oh Lord have mercy. Okay, so there are 8 shades in here, 4 metallics, 4 mattes. The metallics in here are so insanely pigmented, reflective, metallic. It's gorgeous. This palette was the very first time I've ever tried to cut crease, and I was really happy with how it turned out. And I think that the mattes are really nice in here as well, very pigmented and blendable. These I cannot use just on their own. This is the lightest shade that I tend to use as a transition color, but I do have to put something else underneath of it just for my skin tone. But they're all so amazing and beautiful. I don't think I'll ever be able to get rid of this palette. I do want to swatch El Malecion for you because this is the most unique shade out of this palette. And you can truly see how foiled it is. Ooh. So pretty. Love that color. Love that palette. Definitely recommend that one. And the last thing was the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in Drop Top, which was a pretty peachy color, a very like pale peachy pink. I did recently decide to get rid of this. I did have 20 lip liners and I wanted to try to bring it down, and I was able to get down to about 15, which I feel pretty good about. It was really challenging, and that was one of the shades that I did end up choosing to get rid of. I love the ColourPop lip liner formula. It is my favorite. I do find it to be very creamy. It's easy to apply. You can actually fill in your lips completely without it being too drying. However, it's not like the most sharp or the most long wearing like some other more drying lip liners might be, but these are some of the first lip liners that I've tried and fallen in love with, so I've just gotten used to this kind of lip liner, so definitely my favorite and I would recommend. Next would be some products from my friend Natasha, and I passed on everything else, but I kept one thing, and I'm not sure what the other things were that I passed on, unfortunately. But this I was super excited about. She did get this in an Ipsy bag, and this is a mini pixie blush. It is a fresh face blush in the shade Beach Rose. I've looked this up on their website, and I think they only sell it in the mini form, which is interesting. This is a beautiful terracotta nude. This is a burnt peach is how I like to describe it. And I'm not one to put blush on my nose, but if you put this on the bridge of your nose and like kind of like a wash of it on the larger part of your cheek, I think it would give you the most beautiful peach sunburn look instead of being red. It's so pretty. It's actually a very pigmented and smooth formula, which I'm very impressed by. And this is something that I do really enjoy wearing in the fall time, and I'm excited to use it more this year as well. That's what it looks like. So it is similar to that Kiko, but the Kiko is looking a little bit more orange, and this one has like a slight bit more of like a red tone to it. So pretty. I love the way that one looks on the skin. This is definitely a surprise favorite of mine. I think this was in my yearly favorites of last year, so definitely recommend this blush. Then I had a bunch of stuff from my friend Jean. The first was a Colored Rain empty palette. I do think it's nice that it is a square instead of rectangle palette. You do have a nice large mirror inside, and you can fit 16 eyeshadows in here. So right now I just have some Anastasia shadows. These are really nice quality. Overall, I do prefer my regular Z palettes. I like that I can fit more shades. I like that all my Z palettes, my magnetic palettes, are about the same size. I do have like a couple smaller ones, but I just really enjoy the Z palette brand. I like that you have that clear lid to see the colors in them. But I do think this is great quality. I would recommend it. It's definitely just personal preference on what kind of magnetic palette you like. Then would be the Ole Henriksen Truth Foaming Cleanser. I passed that on. The Sea Rush Brightening Gel Cream, I haven't used it yet. Essence All About Matte Waterproof Powder. I thought this one was a fine touch-up powder, but I think that the Rimmel Stay Matte works much better than the Clinique Stay Matte Translucent Blotting Powder. Same thing, Rimmel works much better for me. Then we had the Balm Meat Matte Nude, which is one of my favorite palettes previously, and I actually just decided to declutter this in my most recent declutter video, which I'll link in the cards, but I did depot the matte white because that is the best matte white ever, and I use it to highlight my brow bone. And then she also gave me the Meat Matte Adore palette. So I do have Nude, Tremoni, and Adore. So I was very excited to have the third in the set, and this palette is very interesting. So you do have this nice like matte cream color, which is really great for setting primer. And then you basically have like 3 transition colors, a crease color, or this could also be transition depending on your skin tone, a brow bone setting shade. This could be a crease color, and then 3 liner outer corner colors. So I love an all matte palette. I think that's very nice, but the colors are just like way too light and way too dark. There's not enough of like a middle shades or enough of a gradient for me. So I am actually going to let go of this palette as well. I have a lot of other great transition colors I love, and I never use dark shades. So I just don't think I would get the most use out of this palette, except I probably finish the matte cream. But I will say that it takes forever to get through these shadows. They're very pigmented, they're very smooth, and they come with a ton of product. So I definitely recommend these. I think they're a nice formula. I'm just gonna get rid of this one because of the shades. Then we had the Too Faced I Want Candy palette. I think this had some pretty shades. The packaging was nice. I think that the mattes in there were nice. The shimmer shades, there were some that were just a shimmer, and then there were a few that were metallics that were very impressive. I would love to see more of that formula in Too Faced palettes. Then we had the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette, which had just a couple of mattes and the rest were metallics. Those metallics were also that really impressive formula, but the shade selection overall was not my favorite. There were a few colors in there I loved, but overall not my favorite. I did recently declutter that to my sister-in-law, and it looks beautiful on her skin tone, all those metallic shades. So I was really happy I was able to gift it to her. Then the Tarte Color Splash lipsticks in Pink Lemonade and Beach Babe. Pink Lemonade is like a really opaque, pastel-y, peachy pink color that I feel like can maybe only be flattering on fair skin, but at the same time it makes us look paler, our teeth look more yellow. So that's just a funny color. Beach Babe I do think is a nice nude shade. This is like a good lipstick formula, but it doesn't blow me away. Then we have the Too Faced Pineapple Paradise Strobing Bronzer. So it came with like a gold highlight and a satin bronzer. Gold highlight was too dark for me. The bronzer was too dark for me as well. Then the Papa Don't Peach Blush. This was fine. It was a pretty color. I have a lot of other peach blushes in my collection. I would reach for over that one, and I felt like it did get hard pan. Well, not necessarily hard pan, but it got like little bumpies on it, little texture on it pretty early. And I've seen that happen to a lot of other people that have that blush as well. So very interesting. And then the Sweet Peach Glow palette. You really have to dig your brush in there to get any pigmentation because it is that big gelée formula, which I've just come to terms with the fact that that doesn't work for me. I'd have too hard of a time picking it up on a brush. Then we have the ColourPop eyeshadow in Seeing Stars, which is a really nice bright purple. It has a little bit of a shimmer in it. Then the Buxom eyeshadow in La La Lavish, which is a duochrome purple, I almost said polish, eyeshadow. Very pretty, it performs well, but I do have Blacklight from Makeup Geek, so I did end up passing that on. Then I have the Kat Von D Studded Kiss lipstick in Lovecraft. The formula of that is just too thick and uncomfortable on the lips. The Drunk Elephant C Tango Multivitamin Eye Cream, incredible. So smooth under the eye. I love the way it feels. I went through 4 minis of it. If it comes up as 100 point perks again, I'll absolutely get it. I have other eye creams I need to work through before I buy any, but definitely one of the best ones I've ever tried. The Bare Minerals Skin Longevity Vital Power Infusion Serum, I do really enjoy. I'm using one right now and I've been through several samples of this. The Philosophy Purity Pore Extracting Mask, I think this is nice. I've heard a lot of people really rave about it. It's just nice for me, but I'm not a mask person. Then the Bare Minerals Original Foundation in number 3 Fairly Light and the Mineral Veil. I use those up in projects, not my thing, just a little too messy. And I love loose powder, but like loose powder with coverage makes me a little nervous. Then the Pacifica Cherry Matte Mattifying Primer. The cherry scent was way too overpowering for me, so I decluttered it. The IT Cosmetics Matte CC Cream and Fair, just use it up. It's a really nice foundation, medium buildable coverage. It is matte without being like the most mattifying, so it would work for a lot of skin types that are looking for more of a natural matte finish. Do enjoy it, but I would pick the Too Faced Peach Perfect Foundation over that one because it's more mattifying. Then we have the Anastasia Liquid Lipstick in Pure Hollywood. It's a little too light of a nude for me. And I used to love the Anastasia formula, but I don't anymore. It's just too dry in for me, but they have a great shade range. Then the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Foundation. It just did not wear the best on me and it wasn't as mattifying as I would have liked it to be. ColourPop No Filter Stick Foundation and Fair 05 Warm. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to use this because it started smelling really bad, so I had to toss it. The NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop Concealer. I did use this one up. It was just okay. Didn't come with a lot of product. Wouldn't repurchase it. The ColourPop No Filter Concealer in Fair 00 is the white shade. I'm using that right now as a mixer shade. Out of like the drugstore concealers I've tried, the ColourPop one is my favorite. I would recommend that. The No Filter, like the original formula. I haven't tried the others. Then was the Cella Eyebrow Cream and Tantalizing Taupe. It's a brow pomade. I did end up passing that one on. It was just a little too dark for me. And then the Tarte Found Sealer Foundation in 13 in Fair Neutral. Beautiful medium coverage foundation. It has more of a dewy finish and it's just not long wearing enough on my oily skin, but it's a beautiful foundation that I would absolutely recommend to people that have a dry or normal skin type. So guys, that was it. And I hope that you guys enjoy this. I'm kind of sad to see that there were so many things I ended up decluttering, but I actually just like got rid of a lot more stuff today too. Yesterday and today I've been watching Marie Kondo's series on Netflix and it's making me let go of more stuff, which partially makes me sad, but I do feel better about it in the long run. long run. And again, I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of people in my life that love makeup, so I'm always able to find a home for everything, or like a new home for it, which makes it so much easier to let stuff go. But I'm very happy with all of the products that I have here, and I'm excited to get more use out of everything. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.